that with no big issues. So, yeah, I'm pleased with what they did. K4YDB, standing by for the net.
N4GYY, K4YDB for the question. Frank, you hear me okay?
K4YDB, yes, N4GYY. Yeah, we're doing fine here.
Yeah, I'm on the net logger. Let's see which one. Line number 8. I wonder what kind of amplifier are you working there?
Oh, okay. It's the Flex Radio Power Genius is what I've got. It's one that's kind of falls in line with Flex Radio, and it works quite well with it going along with the Power Genius as well as the Tuner Genius. It's kind of the best way to put it. It's a match set, and so far, other than the problem I had with my original one, that only happened after I actually did their last update on it. So I think their update is what creates the problem. But it seems to be everything seems to be working fine. But it's all the amplifier, the tuner, and the radio are all kind of a match set.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I've had some squirrely problems with this one. It's not really that fancy. I got an Incom 700 Sierra, and I've come to find out I could be going along doing good, and all of a sudden it'll take a dive on me. But I have found out, or I think I have found out, my last cause, I might say, this indicates that I just can't use much audio compression with it. It seems it doesn't like audio compression. I've got very slight compression on now, and it seems to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. I tune it for about 550, 600 watts out, over.
Copy that, yeah. My compression is pretty minimal as well. And of course, I'm only driving this with about 30 watts of power, and I'm getting right at 1K out of it with 30 watts of power. So I'm happy with that. It's actually hitting about 850 to 900. Depends on how loud I talk. You know how that goes. But yeah. I'm pleased with the operation and the way everything works. I can drive it up to 1.5, but I don't want to drive it that hard all the time. So I'll leave it down to where it hangs around the 1K or just a little bit below it.
Okay, well, let's see. What am I putting in? I got input about 6 watts. 6 watts or so. And it's going out with about 525, 550. So on the peak. So very good. These darn things, sometimes you just have to play with them forever until you figure out how to run them. And thank you for the Q show. I'm going to be standing by for the net only about 10 minutes. K4YDB.
K4YDB and N4GYY. Yeah. It's interesting how you can play around with different settings and finally get it tweaked exactly the way you want to. But then when that happens, you need to make sure that you write all that information down, so just in case something happens, you can put it back to that spot. N4GYY, standing by for the net.
W5OG, good morning, Joe. W5ABI, you're 5'9". Go ahead.
Same here. Thanks for the report. W5ABI, standing by for net.
Mighty fine, Joe.
W5OG, W5END, relay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I stepped out of the truck for a little bit, so you might have to, skip over him. W5END.
You say that was Cliff?
Yeah, roger that. W5PIX. He called and I heard him earlier.
I need to step up the the gain because I did not hear him, and I've got the SDR going also. W5OG, thanks, Mike.
Roger. There was a couple of people talking over him. That's probably why you didn't hear him, and I'm probably on the closer side. Anyway, WW5ENZ standing by for the Air Force's fires cover.
WW5ENZ, KT5.
Yeah, that's DPE, WW5ENZ. Go ahead.
Good morning, Mike. I just want to say you got a good solid S9 signal on me here in Texas. I got the beam pointed northwest toward Utah. And I ran out of time. I was going to hook up this amplifier this morning, but I ran out of time, so I'm going to finish the job after the net, so I'm still on 100 watts.
Wow, that's a good 100 watts. I mean, you're 10 over here in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I just got to get in the book to figure out how to use the plate and the grid and how to turn a tube amplifier. Hey, Mike, when I got this thing yesterday, we opened it up. Steve Baltard and I opened it up. The thing's brand new. It's never been used. It's never been fired up ever.
Wow, yeah, I know tuning those things up. I repaired mine, but I haven't turned it on yet because I'm not sure how to do all that tuning. So I'm going to have to read up on it. WW5ENZ.
Yeah, we fired up the tubes to watch the getter material. The getter magnesium burn inside of the tubes and burn the oxygen out. And we should have been using what they call, Dale told me about it yesterday, it's called a variac, where you bring up the power slowly because the capacitors have never been fully charged up. We actually blew a fuse, so it was a real big learning curve for me learning these amplifiers. But it was pretty cool stuff, so anyway, I'm going to be standing by for net, KT5PT, and good morning, Dale, W5OG.
Good morning, James. A big signal here.
Good morning, Dale. K4YDB, and I'll bring up Don. I'll keep a lecture for him, let you know.
K4YDB, thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. Yeah, I've got the Echo link on, so but I would appreciate you bringing him in if he shows up. W5OG.
W5OG, W7AJN is on the air. We're just
Okay, John, good signal. W7AJN. Yeah, you're good S7. W5OG.
WA6LJF, standing by for the Air Force Flyers net, beginning in the top of the hour.
Morning, John.
Good morning. Good signal. Everybody's coming in good this morning.
W6LJF, BS7DKO, and 20 over 9 again this morning, John.
You are too. You're booming in at 20 over. That's been happening for the last week, Carl.
Yeah. And if
First team wasn't sitting on the ground hard. Probably will always be coming in.
Yeah, good signal. Well, we've had the consistent short skip. Guys like you that are within maybe 1,000 miles of me are booming, but the guys on the East Coast are kind of down from what they used to be. Anyway, great conditions. WA6LJS.
WA6LJS, W5ABI.
Yeah, good morning, Joe. Good signal, WA6LJS.
Yeah, good signal here. You're S9 this morning, over.
Yeah, you're a little bit better than S9, but probably five over. And you're coming in, the SDR is good also.
Okay, thanks for the report. W5ABI standing by for that.
Well, Joe, you didn't have to wait long. This is W5OG. It's now 10 o'clock local here in the central part of the country. Time to start the Air Force's Flyers Club net. This net meets on this frequency at this time every day of the year. Members are active duty, retired, and veterans of the military air forces from all branches. We include air crew, ground crew, air traffic controllers, and support personnel. Pretty much anyone involved with the aviation mission from all of our armed forces. We also very much like to welcome visitors. The purpose of the group is to promote fellowship between those of us radio amateurs who spend a portion of our lives supporting the missions of our armed forces, of the aviation mission of our armed forces. This is the control net, contact net control. Please use the words contact, relay, info, or check-in. Again, my call is Whiskey 5 Oscar Golf. My name is Dale, Delta Alpha Lima Echo. I'm located in a small town about 100 miles east of Dallas. So here in East Texas, for your aiming orientation. Now, let's see, if I covered everything, I guess I did. And let's see, I guess that's about it. Oh, I didn't mention our website. That's what's missing. We do have a nice website. You can find out all about the group. The address is airforcesflyersclub.org. Air Forces, plural, flyers, plural, club.org. So far on the list, we are using NetLogger for the list that we'll follow for the net. And those of you that would like to You can check in over the air. I'll stand by for over-the-air check-ins here just shortly, but you can also go bring up NetLogger and put your call sign in, and we'll get you that way as well. So far on the list this morning, I have W5PIX in the Mobile, Uncle Cliff. And I've got Brian, KM6 Zulu X-Ray. And Lee, he didn't show up on when you put him in with his member ID there. So you might want to save that because he is number 673. And I've got M5BE next. Lee is helping with the net logging. Appreciate that, Lee. And also he's being backed up by Chief Mike, WW5ENZ. Appreciate both of you gentlemen helping with the net logging duties. I've also have Art on here this morning from the Phoenix area, WX7 Lima Lima. And I see Don is on there, K0ZNC. So good morning to Don. If he's listening on the SDR, you might put him on as a short timer there, if you would, Lee. Let's see, where was I? John next, WA6LJS. And then Chief Mike, WW5ENZ. Let me turn that echo link down just a minute. They got the iPad here close to the mic, and I don't want it to bleed over. So anyway, let's see. Now I have to figure out where I was. All right, I got Chief Mike. Let's go to the next one on the list would be Russ, K8 Alpha Foxtrot. Good morning to you, Russ. Tom is next, K4YDS. Then our Ops Officer Carl, KF7JJO. And we got our Commander Bob, K1BOB, and he'll be bringing in K0ZNC. And he is up top of the list now. Thank you, Lee. After Bob is Frank, N4GYY in Louisville, with his big nice signal. And I've got Dave, but KE7QWZ, also up in Washington State. I got Charlie, K4YDB in Cartersville, Georgia, and he will be doing live streaming of the net there. If anybody wants to watch the net in action from Charlie's fine station, you can do that on YouTube. And just go to YouTube and select or search for K4YDB and select the live stream there. And you can also see the question, I hope. Anyway, next is Ray, WB2JJO with his new X-Beam, putting out a big signal in Texas. And Joe, W5ABI, and then next is James, KG5PTE. And then Bob is receive only again in X6RG. Good morning to Professor Bob there. Next is my younger brother Brian in San Antonio, WB5DRI, and I'm sure I'll hear you. We got pretty good short skip going again, Brian. Let's see, we've got John, W7AJN in Peoria, Arizona. And I see Mike has been added, KF0OPE. So let me just stand by for over-the-air check-ins. Anyone that's not on that list that would like to join us this morning for the Air Force's Flyers Club Net, members or guests, call now, W5OG. Boy, all is quiet. All right, let's try John, WA6LJS on the left coast. Would you put out a call for check-ins, John?
Wilco, this is WA6LJS relaying for net control for the Thursday morning Air Force Flyers Net. We're looking for check-ins, either members or visitors. Call now. All's quiet on the West Coast. Back to you, Dale.
All right, fine. Fine, John, thank you. I don't see Wild Bill on there. Do we have anybody from the east here? Well, maybe Charlie, K4YDB. Charlie, put a call up from Georgia there, if you would. W5OG.
Wilco, this is K4YDB relaying for net control. We're looking for check-ins to the Air Force's Flyers Club Net. Members or guests, please call now. don't hear nothing.
Okay. Thank you, Charlie. Well, of that list, are there any additional short timers? Anyone that needs to be a short timer in addition to, I've got Don on here, K0ZNC. Any other short timers? Call now, W5OG. Well, we got a pretty good bunch and in for the duration, so that's a good thing. All right, let me get the question of the day. Fun question. We've talked about this before, so it's nothing new, and it should be the first part of the question should be relatively easy. I think everyone knows the answer to this, but well, put it out there anyway as a kind of a review. And I saw the I think it was the last copy, September October version, I guess, of the Air and Space magazine. And they had a thing about General Chenault, so I thought I would just have a question about that. And the question is, the lead up to the question, in 1937, Claire Chenault, as a retired Air Corps fighter pilot, in 1937, remember, was hired by Chinese leader Chiang Kai-shek to head up the struggling Chinese Air Force to combat Japanese invaders. Hiring mostly ex-military soldiers of fortune, Chenault formed what came to be known as the Flying Tigers. My first question is, what aircraft did Chenault use? What aircraft did the Flying Tigers use? Was it A, the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt, or B, the Voight F-4U Corsair, or was it C. Charlie, the Grumman F-4F Wildcat, or D is the Curtiss P-40 Warhawk? It was one of those aircraft. Your task is to select the aircraft, and if you don't know it, you can look it up. This is just a review after all. Again, the answers are the A would be the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt, B, the Voight F-4U Corsair, C, the Grumman F-4F Wildcat, or D answer is Curtiss P-40 Warhawk. And for extra effort and extra extra points, I guess, question 2. Despite this being an aircraft said to be inferior to the Japanese Zero, what was the kill-to-loss ratio achieved by the Flying Tigers? And you may need to look this up, and that'll be fine. But anyway, the kill-to-loss ratio achieved by the Flying Tigers, was it A, 10-to-1, or B, 15-to-1, C, 20-to-1, or D answer is 25-to-1? So which was it? Was it 10-to-1, answer A, or answer B, 15-to-1? Answer C would be 20-to-1, or D, 25-to-1. And I said that the aircraft was said to be inferior. It did not have the performance of the Japanese Zero. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started. And but first, as our normal custom, we'll get Don in here. We appreciate you being able to join us this morning again, Don. And if you bring him in there, Bob, we would appreciate that. K0ZNC, go ahead and bring it in from K1BOB. Go ahead, Bob, W5OG.
Wilco Dale, K1BOB here, and Don, you're up, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. K0ZNC, Don in Longmont, Honey Rapper. Good morning to all the players. Well, they had our first year along there yesterday, and it sure messed up my day. My son, one of my sons was supposed to come and pick me up, take me over to this place for a birthday celebration for him. But he was not able to make it because of the weather, because of things on the roads and everything, so we had to get my going out for the day. And that was a bummer. What it does on that for the bummer with the top of the personnel here at DJS looks like doing the thing tonight. It was nice. They had a little get together and birthday song and they eat a lot of hot popcorn. You can enjoy that. A lot of fun. Good people here. Anyway, so much for yesterday's birthday celebration. Gosh, the question for Bravo for the first one, and I don't really know. I'm going to say Bravo for the second one. Just put me down for Bravo. Make it easy there. Give me a shout on the W2 rounds. You're pretty good. I will be here today. So with that, we'll pass back to you. Dale, thank you for getting me on the HF. And Matt, thank you for doing the simulcasting for me. I'm boosting this down you guys gave me today. We'll turn it back over to you, Dale. W5OG, K1BOB, this is K0ZNC.
K1BOB, back to net control.
All right, thank you, Bob, and thank you, Don. Good to hear from you this morning. Glad that worked out all okay yesterday, Don. And I'm sorry that you couldn't get together with your sons there for your birthday, but glad they rose to the occasion and took care of you admirably. And for those of you that are in the Longmont area, Kel and I have stopped by to see to visit with Don. He has a very nice facility there in Longmont. I'm sure he would love to have company, so if you're through the Longmont area, don't miss a chance to stop by and visit with Don. I know he would appreciate that. All right, let's move along, and we got your answers there all okay, Don. How about Uncle Cliff, W5PIX? Go ahead, Cliff, you're up, W5OG.
W5OG and to all the flyers this morning, good morning, and we are sitting down here at Bryan College Station trying to get rid of our Colorado Kool-Aid. And we talked about wildfires, Don. I just heard on Fox this morning that New Jersey's got a wildfire. So, I think it's in northern New Jersey, though, but Ray, watch out. They're going to try and get you down there at the beach. Anyways, I'm going to go half a half on the question. I really don't know about that. It seemed like there was a 47s they were flying. And, just some of the pictures in my mind I'm trying to remember. But anyways, cloudy down here, 77 degrees in the Bryan College Station. And trying to get rid of our Kool-Aid, like I said. I'm glad to be back in his saddle because I was out in the warehouse there trying to get signed in and saying we did not have an appointment, so they're going ahead and take us anyways. So they said, I can take you back to full work, don't matter to me, but my company upset for paying for all this mileage. So anyways, they're taking it. So with that, I will pass it back to you, Don. I got a good lawful coffee on you there down here, so good conditions for right now. So W5PIX, back to WB5,
All right. My fine, Cliff. I could just barely bring you in there. I had to go back to the. I was hoping that we have short skip sufficient to get you from the Mobile, but I had to go to the Utah SDR. Anyway, got your answers there, and all the travails of the truck driver in these modern periods. So, have a good day there, Cliff, and we'll be back to you in the 7-3 around here just shortly. All right, let's go to Brian, KM6 Zulu X-Ray. Not always on here with us, but we're glad to have you this morning. Brian, you're up, W5OG. Okay. Fine, Brian. Well, glad to have you join us, as I mentioned earlier. We'll move along. Let's go to Lee, N5BE, and he knows all things historic, so I should have put you at the bottom of the list there, Lee, but you know all things historic about World War II anyway, so I'm sure you're well versed on all this. If you want to abstain, you can do that, Lee, or you can give the answer and then, caveat it with, I'm not sure this is right. Something like that. N5BE, go ahead, Lee, W5OG.
Yeah, W5OG and 5B. And Brian, I'm sorry, I didn't get your first answer. The dogs were going crazy right when you gave it, and I couldn't get them quieted down in time. So if I could get that again and put it on that logger, or if Mike heard it, he could plug it in. The first CEO of aircraft engines at General Electric was a German immigrant named Gerhard Neumann. Gerhard Neumann started the aircraft engine business for General Electric. Prior to that, we made turbo superchargers. So we knew how to do heat transfer on metal properties and things like that. But Gerhard was a German immigrant, escaped Hitler's Germany, came to the United States, and volunteered to go to China with the AVG as an aircraft mechanic. And he served over there, I think, until the AVG got folded into the U.S. Army Air Force. I'm not sure what he did after that. But anyway, Herman the German, who was the column, he had some great stories. So that's my memory of that. Relative to the aircraft, it's the P-40 Bravo. P-40 Bravo, so what was that? That was a G, I think? Yeah, that was G. Now, the second part of this question, boy, you've got to ask the right question to get the right answer, understanding the source of the data. So there's my caveat. And the other thing is, what constitutes a kill? Because there's some numbers to get it added up, aircraft kills, and then there's another column of pilots killed. So, again, which question to get which answer? So it's kind of like trying to believe someone explaining life cycle thought. So, pet peeve of mine, by the way. So I'm going to go with Charlie. I think 20 to 1 is the closest number. Recognizing, as Brian said, some of this stuff is all over the place. And but I'm going to go with Charlie. So Delta Charlie, and thanks for the question, and sorry for the long explanation. W5OG N5BE.
Okay, Lee. Yeah, every time I go coming up with a question from the World War II or these older aircraft, it's kind of like taking your life in your own hands, with you, because you know all the ins and outs of it. But I got your answer. My initials there, Delta Charlie. I don't know what it could be. Well, we'll talk about this at the bottom of the list here. But glad to have your perspective and your good war stories there. Let's go to Art. WX7 Lima. You're up, Art. W5OG. All righty, Art, mighty fine. Got your answers. You're going to follow along from what Lee had to say. We'll move along. Let's go to John, WA6LJS. Good morning again, John. You're up, W5OG.
Okay, good morning, Dale. W5OG, this is WA6LJS. Good morning to the net. Well, pretty good conditions out here. Frequency is clear, and you're 15 over normally, and so was Lee, and so far I haven't really had to use the SDR. It's 55 degrees. We still have a red flag warning. There was high winds yesterday evening, but it's pretty much calm today, so at least in this area, but they were issuing warnings because of the Santa Ana high wind, but they didn't really hit us up here. It's like I said, it's 55 degrees right now, clear blue sky, plenty of sun. Probably get up into the low 70s today. The answer to the question, I will say, I think it is T Delta, the P40 was the aircraft, and I think the kill ratio was Alpha 10 to 1. So put me DA, Delta Alpha. And happy birthday to Don. He came through very nicely through Bob's simulcast. So back to you, Dale. W5OG, WA6LJS.
All right, John, mighty fine. Got your answers there, Delta Alpha. Yeah, well, let's hope we don't have those Santa Ana winds and fires. We're coming up on fire season here. When we move out of the hurricane season, we move into the fire season. All right, John, mighty fine. We'll break with you and go to Mike. WW5ENZ, thanks for the help starting up net logger this morning. Mike, you're up, W5OG.
Okay, W5OG, WW5ENZ. Yeah, no problem with that, Dale. When I get out to the shack here, I turn it on, and if it's, 45 minutes before, I'll get started anyway, so I'll have something to play with. Anyway, I started out pretty chilly this morning here in Oklahoma City. It didn't get to freezing, though, but we were in the 40s. Right now, it looks like it's 57. But, again, it is clear, and that's a good thing, with all those storms we had come through here last week. But anyway, as far as the question goes, the first question's not too hard, the Delta. Second question's harder, but I'm going to go on the low side. I'm going to go with Delta Alpha. So I'm going to stay there on the lower side because as someone said earlier, the Japanese at that time were pretty well trained, and it was amazing just to get close to 1 in 10. So that'll be it. I'll be here to the bottom, Dale, and you're sounding really great here. Since my antenna broke, we almost got a direct pipeline. Anyway, I'm going to come up with some ideas on that. I'm thinking about putting another tower section in, and then making the pipe that they hook beams on is real short. Just short, just enough to get the HF and the VHF antenna together. Anyway, other than that, that's my plan, and so we'll go that way. Anytime, Cliff, you got one of those short tower sections on your truck, got no place to put it, drive it up here. Just kidding. Anyway, I'm going to turn it back to you, Dale, on WW5ENZ, and I'll be here to the bottom, WW5ENZ.
All right, Mike. Mighty fine, got your answers there. We'll move along to Russ, K8AF, up in Washington State. Hopefully you're hearing me there, Russ. You're up, W5OG.
W5OG, you got a great signal today, Dale. Very good. No problem copying everybody so far. So chilly morning in central Washington, about 23 degrees this morning. But the sun's out and it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. So, I'm pretty sure the answer to the question is Delta to P40. I'm not sure about the kill ratio, but I think it was fairly high, so I'm going to go with Alpha. So Delta and Alpha on that. And I hope everyone has a good day. I think someone said it was Don's birthday, so happy birthday to Don. And I'll turn it back to you, W5OG K8AF.
All right, fine, Russ. Okay, we'll move along, and you have a good signal here in Texas as well. K4YES, Tom, good morning again. You're up, W5OG.
Okay, very fine, Dale. Thank you for calling me in. And good morning to all the flyers. This is K4YDB. And by golly, we got some water last night. It started about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon and rained the biggest part of the night. I got 6/10 of an inch of water, and that's the first rain we've had in something like 5 weeks. It was very, very welcome. So far today it's overcast, only 71 degrees outside right now, and forecast high to be 78. So it's going to be overcast. I'm thinking more rain maybe today as well. On to the next question. I think I got this one. I think I got it. When I was a youngster, around 9, 10, something like that, there were some comic books about the flying tigers. I had 2 or 3 of them, and I had a conflict with my mother, and that's what makes me remember. She did not want me reading that trash or having that trash, and she took my comic books away from me, and that hurt my feelings bad. But I do remember from those comic books about the flying tigers that they flew the K4YDB Wildcat. So for question number 1, mark me down Delta. Now, as things I recall talking about that was the each Wildcat would kill 12 enemy planes. Well, 12 is not one of the answers that we have, but the 10 is the closest to the 12. So I'm going to go with the 10-to-1 answer alpha for question number 2. So if you will, please, Dale, mark me down Delta and Alpha. K4YDB, that's your next.
Okay, fine time, Delta and Alpha for you, and we'll move along. Let's go to Carl. KF7GJO. Good morning, Carl. W5OG.
Well, good morning, Dale and the group. This is KF7GJO. Always from the Stations and Tundra Peninsula, North Carolina, where the thermometer on the side of the garage read 19 this morning. Yeah, pretty common in the North Valley for it to be anywhere 3 to 6 degrees colder than it is at weather reporting station, which is at the airport downtown. Yeah, it definitely got my attention. It's going to force me to stay inside my heated man cave, radio shack, whatever you want to call it. Probably until about the 12th of June. Okay, getting on reflection. The short shift is exceptional this morning. I heard John 20 over 9 before we got started in several other western U.S. stations. Speaking exceptionally well. And the rest of you asking me what kind of SPR stuff. So, boy, let's hope that this propagation holds out to about, tonight. On your question, it seems to me, and boy, we're really scraping the barnacles off these memories, but it seems to me that, although you don't indicate it, that Chenault also had a few breached repentantly. But the primary airplane that the Tigers
like I checked with paying the pilots, they also got a bonus for each kill, which definitely made it worth their while to exaggerate the kill rate anyway, the top people. But I'm going to go with Bravo for question number 2, 15 to 1 kill rate. So, those are the guesses, buddy, and I'll be waiting at this bottom to find out how badly I did. K4YDB,
Okay, Carl. Mighty fine. Well, this is just for fun anyway, so we'll talk about it here just shortly. Well, the other historian in the group, Bob, K1BOB. Go ahead, Bob. What do you have to say about this? W5OG.
K1BOB, I'm a YouTuber, so mostly at night. I come up with a lot of my questions that way, but then they always require research because you never know about some of the kids posting stuff on YouTube. Most of the time it's pretty good. Anyway, it's a good question, and good morning, everybody. And great list this morning, Dale. And hearing everybody pretty darn well, just a couple light ones out there. But still going good here. And if I can hear DJ Hill, I can hear anybody. Carl, you're 15 over here. I like that. And we're exactly the same temperature when I got up this morning. It was 19 degrees on the back of the outbuilding. So it's up to 23 now. So anyway, getting the winter stuff done. A lot of it yesterday. Got the snow blowers ready to go, and put the snow blade on the UTV side by side there yesterday morning. And got all the marker sticks out around the circle and driveway out to the street, so we don't go off the side of the driveway when there's some high edges. Let's see, the question, oh, it's a good one. I knew the first one right away, no doubt in my mind. It's fixed in my mind, the front of those K40s with that tiger on it. I don't know, we might even have one of those fixes on Charlie's streaming stuff somewhere, but I've come across that a few times. And yeah, well, there were some fun things that happened during then, and not so fun. Japanese are getting clobbered. And I think that was first developed under the hope that it would protect the Berlin air route. So the Chinese would go along with it. Anyway, I'm sure money was involved in that too. As far as the aces, yeah, that's a good point Carl makes there. If you became an ace, you got an extra $2,500 bonus on top of your $500 or $600 a month. The pilots made. Then I think they switched that to $500 extra for each aircraft you shot down. So it's quite an incentive there to take risks, if you will, there. And they had a pretty good graduated pay scale, where commanders made quite a bit more, and flight leaders were paid a bit more. So anyway, I don't know. It's 15 to 20. I don't know if 20 is exaggerated. I guess it depends what your sources are. So I know you source this pretty good. Put me down for a higher number. I don't have it in front of me now. I think 20 to 1. 20 to 1. Because they kind of clobbered the Chinese there. And Chinese were really tearing up Japan at the time. So 20 to 1, well, I think that's Charlie. Answer Charlie. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Dale. Great question this morning.
Okay, Bob. Well, we'll see. Maybe a good question, but I'm not sure about the answer. Anyway, let's go to Frank. N4GYY. Good. You're up, Frank. Go ahead. W5OG.
W5OG and the great K4YDB. Good morning to all the flies out there. This morning here in Louisville, it was rainy and rained kind of all night long, and a good part of yesterday, which was good. We needed the rain. I think it's keeping us right on the edge of being in a drought condition. We did get a little rain back on Halloween. Wasn't a whole lot. We've got a little over an inch over the past 24 hours or so, which has been well needed. Right now we're running about 57 degrees. Only supposed to get up to about 62 today. Really, it didn't get much wasn't much colder this morning than the 57 right now. Dale, this is a good question. I'm a little perplexed. The Delta, for the first answer, that seems to fall in line for some reason. I kind of remember the K4 as being the primary airplane there. But the combination between whether or not it was to be a 10-to-1 ratio or a 20-to-1 ratio, maybe I'll jump in there and go in the middle and go with the 15-to-1, go with the DB, and we'll see how that works out. So, of course, I was listening to Lee and what he's got to say, and I was listening to Bob and what he's got to say. I think they're the two smartest ones out there when it comes to this kind of stuff. But I'm going to jump in the middle and see what happens. You never know. So with that, I'll turn it back to you. W5OG and 3 and 4GYY.
Okay, fine, Frank. Yeah, you always have a good signal here. Let's go to David up in Washington State. K7QWZ. David, you're up. W5OG. Alrighty. Okay, David. Not real strong, but I did hear most of that. So glad to have you join us this morning. Let's go to Charlie, K4YDB. Good morning again, Charlie. You're up, W5OG.
W5OG, K4YDB. Well, good morning, Dale, again. Hope you're doing well this morning. Hope everybody's doing okay. Right now, weather-wise, it's 76 degrees here. And we're supposed to get up near 80 today, which we really could use some rain. We haven't had any rain since the middle of October. So it's been pretty dry out there right now, so not gonna build no fires, that's for sure. Right now, conditions so far have been holding up pretty nicely right now. Only two people that I have trouble with was Art and Brian, the ZX Brian. Those are the only two, and everybody else has been coming in so-so. But Dale, you've been coming in a good solid S9 the whole net, so no problem there. This morning I had to go out and go to the pet the vet and pick up some little pills for Melly. She got fleas, so I had to get that flea stuff from the vet and put it on her. So this way, hopefully, she'll settle down a little bit. May go ahead and throw a bath in there just in case. But those pills seem to work pretty good. But nothing else going on over here. So I guess let me go with the question. Decisions. I know I'm going to go with Delta on the first one. I'm up in the air about the second question. What the heck? I'll go with Charlie. I'll do Delta and Charlie. W5OG K4YDB. I'm back to net.
Yeah. Okay, Charlie, mighty fine. And again, thank you for doing that live stream. I'm sure that helps everyone out so that they don't have to write all these questions down in longhand there. All right, let's move along to Ray up in New Jersey. WB2JJO. Good morning, Ray. You're up. W5OG.
Oh, good morning, Dale. W5OG from WB2JJO. Well, I'll tell you what, I've been listening to everybody on the net there, and I guess winter is settling in somewhere in the United States, but I have a beautiful sunny day here. I have 83 degrees. Do you believe that in November in New Jersey it's 83 degrees? We should be in the low 50s right now, but we're doing 83 and it's a beautiful day out there. We also, our area here is a big drought area. We have a lot of wildfires in the pine barrens that we have here. So the firefighters are really busy with wildfires. How they start, I don't know. But anyway, that's what we're dealing with here. Now around my house, thank God I don't have that problem. I'm doing pretty good. I got a lot of woods around me, but so far, thank God, no fires. Let's see. Enough of that stuff. As far as the question is concerned, I'm going to go with Delta. You know, the P40 Warhawk. That sounds pretty right to me. Seems like that's like a lemon line. And the second question, I don't know the answer. I'm gonna just go with I'm just gonna go with Alpha. I'm gonna go with Delta Alpha on that one, Dale. Delta Alpha. So those are the answers I got here for today, and we will be here to the end, and I'll probably be on echoing later on. So with that there, W5OG, WB2JJO.
Okay, Ray. Good signal. Your Hex beam is doing a good job for you there. Much better than without it. Before I had to struggle to hear you, and now I have no problem. We got your answers there. You didn't say Delta and Charlie, did you not, Ray?
Negative. Delta and Alpha. Delta and Alpha.
Okay, my mistake. Delta and Alpha. Thank you. All right, let's move along to Joe, W5ABI in the city of Crosses. You're up, Joe, W5OG.
Yeah, W5OG. Let me turn down my... Just a minute here. Okay, that's better. W5OG, W5ABI. I had the SCR on and I had him rolling here, so I didn't hear myself. Anyhow, rainy day in Las Cruces here. It rained overnight. It's not raining now. It's currently 42 and it's only going up to 66. So, fall is here. We need the rain, that's for sure. We haven't had much rain. I think our usual total is about 11 inches a year, so that's not very much. Anyhow, thanks for running the net. Good morning to you and all the fires. My answers are going to be Delta for the first one and Charlie for the second, and we'll be here to the bottom. W5OG, W5ABI.
All right, Joe. Yeah, good signal. As normal, that Hex beam works well for you there. We'll move along. Go to James, KG5PTE down in Belton. Good morning, James. You're up, W5OG.
Morning, Dale, W5OG, KG5PTE. You're just going to have to put me down for the right answer, Dale. I have been listening, but I've been fighting with this tricare.mil website. I don't know if you got the email the other day since you live in Texas, but you've got to set up online payments, automatic deductions for TRICARE starting January 1st with TriWest, because Humana is not going to have the contract anymore with Texas. It's going to go to TriWest, and they want you to set up a credit card on file so they can pay. And I've been struggling to try to get onto this website. Really didn't pay attention to the questions and everything. I apologize, but just put me down for the right answer. I'll turn it back to net control, but I'll be here for 73 rounds. But I'm trying to focus on getting this fixed because you probably got the same email I got, Dale. Back to you, W5OG, KG5.
Well, James, I actually did not get that email. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit different. Well, no, you're a retiree just like I am, and I have TRICARE for life. That's what we use. Supplement to Medicare. So I don't know. I'll have to look into that, but I will. Thank you for the info. Let's move along. Let's see. We got Bob in X6RG listening only. Good morning again, Bob. Sorry you're not in here and able to talk with us, but you probably got an interesting project going on. That's right, Brian. My younger brother down in San Antonio. Good morning, Brian. Love you and Susie. WB5DRI, you're up. W5OG.
Yeah, W5OG and the net. This is WB5DRI. Well, good morning, Dale, and good morning to all the flyers and to the net, and love to you guys, Dale, to you and Carolyn there. Good to hear everybody on the radio this morning, Dale, and we've got that short skip still going on. I'm amazed that this is like the third day in a row, or maybe longer, and we've had short skip. So it's really wonderful here on 20 meters this morning. Hear everybody just about on the radio. But anyway, I wanted to wish Don a happy birthday there. And also, Dale, I wanted to mention that Pony Express came through yesterday. And I got your beautiful birthday card. Thank you for that. It was postmarked the 8th of October. I don't know what the post office did with it. You know, I think it's like the Pony Express, except I think the Pony Express was faster for the distances that we're talking about here. But anyway, I got a kick out of the fact that it finally showed up yesterday, but it was a very nice card. I appreciate that. And also, I wanted to tell Brian, KM6ZX, he had asked me about my youngest son, Brett. He's a retired Marine Corps officer also, and he went through, I checked with him to see when he went through TBS, and he went through and came out in early 96, he said. So I think he was just a little bit ahead of you, Brian. But he said his class was about 75% aviation, and of course he was an infantry officer and ended up as a company commander in Fallujah in 2004. So anyway, I just wanted to pass that on to him, and great questions this morning, Dale. I think it's not your initials. I don't think it's DC. I don't think you would make it your initials. But in that, I know that the numbers are maybe controversial. I know they destroyed a lot of aircraft on the ground as well. I don't think you can really count those, but I'm not sure how they counted their kill loss to loss ratio. I'm going to go with Delta, of course, the P-40 Warhawk for the first answer, and then which is what the group has come with there. But I'm going to go with Bravo for the second answer, because I think maybe 15-1 is more realistic. But I'm sure they destroyed more aircraft on the ground that would, if they were counting the ratio that way, would be much, much higher. Anyway, thanks for getting us all in there this morning, Dale. And looks like we might get some rain down here in San Antonio. We could sure use it. And I have to say, in closing, I probably talked too long, but I have to say that yesterday was a great day for our country, and I really feel good about the whole thing. So anyway, back to you, Dale. W5OG, WB5DRI, back to that. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, fine, Brian. And I'll have to admit, I woke up this morning with that peaceful, easy feeling that the world was back in some sense of normality, that everything had not gone askew, and we weren't living in the twilight zone. So anyway, yeah, we're very fortunate. Good, Brian, got your answer there. Let's go on to John. W7AJN. Good morning, John. You're up. W5OG.
The girls are doing fine. No problems there. And let's see, on your question,
I thought that 240 was one beautiful aircraft. I really like that Warhawk, especially with the Flying Tiger tooth on it, shark tooth on it. Great aircraft. So my choice is the Delta for the first question. And for the second question, there's a lot of controversy about the number of kills. But I think realistically it would come down to about 15 to 1. So I'm going to go with Bravo on the second question. So Delta and Bravo are my answers. So back to you, Dale. I'll tell you what. Since I'm so close to the end, I'm going to give my 7 phrases this time. So everybody, make it a wonderful day. Because you're in charge of it. W7AJM, back to Mexico.
All right, John, my fine Delta and Bravo. And, yeah, we'll go ahead and mark you out, but I think we'll have time for the 73 round here. We're almost to the bottom now. Let's go to Mike up in Nebraska. I didn't move the antenna, Mike. I hope you're hearing me. But anyway, you're up. KF0OPE, W5OG.
Well, good morning, Dale, and all the players and visitors on the net. Yeah, you're 10 over here, Dale. Just so you know, I'm hearing almost everybody lovely this morning. Well, it's a beautiful day. A little chilly. I think it was about 43 this morning when I got up, but a beautiful sunshine today. I've been on the road, so it's good to hear everybody. Good to get back on the net and hear everybody. For a few days, anyway, for a couple days. As to the question, I'm going to go with Delta Charlie. Delta Charlie. With that, I'll turn back to W5OG and the net. KF0OP.
Okay, Mike, mighty fine. Yeah, I don't know where, well, then my antenna is a little bit north of west, so perhaps that you're in the beam width of the antenna a bit. So, mighty fine. Your nice or your X-beam really helps your signal. No doubt about that. Let's see. All right, we'll break with you. Now, let's see. I've got 3 receive only in a row here. Mike, KJ5IAI. Good morning to you, Michael. And I'm sure you'll be over on Echo Lake here. We'll adjourn to that right after the 73 round. We'll get to that here just momentarily. Got Chris, KS5TY, Bowling Green. Still struggling with that ugly 4-letter word that starts with a W. And I've got Norm, November 9, Kilo Juliet November, and Harvard, Illinois. So good morning to you, Norman, as well. All right, that's the bottom of the list. Unless I missed anyone. Did I miss anybody in the initial trip through the list? Call now, W5OG. All right, that means it's time to dispense with the question, I suppose. The question was, in 1937, Claire Chenault is a retired Air Corps fighter pilot. He retired as a major, by the way. He was kind of disgruntled with the Air Corps, did not see his future going anywhere. But he was a very accomplished fighter pilot when he did that, had quite a reputation. And he was, in fact, hired by a Chinese leader as a civilian. General Chiang Kai-shek hired Chenault to head up his struggling Chinese Air Force to combat the Japanese invaders into China. And Chenault went about hiring mostly ex-military soldiers of fortune that he found around, and you can find out, as already has been mentioned, they didn't pay those folks a whole lot, but it was about twice, a little bit more than twice the amount that they were getting on active duty at the time. And they became known as the Flying Tigers. And the question was, what aircraft did they use? And it was, in fact, as most all of you knew, and I knew you would, the Curtiss P-40 Warhawk, which was not quite the performer of the Zero at the time. And so that brings us to question 2. D was, of course, the correct answer for the first question. Question 2. As far as the kill to loss ratio, and that is very much in dispute, The information I had said it was up around 300 for the total number of total number of kills to the losses for the Flying Tigers, which was 12 aircraft. They only lost 12 to that duration, and had 300 or around 300 kills, which would make it 25 to 1. And that is a bit high because, as has been mentioned, many of those were aircraft on the ground. They were struggling to get credit for kills. A lot of them were Japanese bombers, not fighters. And in the China theater at that time, the China-Burma theater, the Japanese had pulled most of the Zeros out. So they were fighting the... I forget the name. What is it? Nate or whatever. Nate, I think, is the name of that. The older Japanese fighter. It had a fixed gear. Was not nearly the performer of the Zero, and so that's one of the reasons why they had such a high kill to loss ratio. Anyway, as the history developed, then they were incorporated after the war started, and the Americans were hiring those folks back into the active duty forces. They reincorporated, they folded it back into the Air Corps, and they kept their logo and promoted. Chennault back to, he started off as a brigadier general. He had trained these pilots so that they were very effective, and they had a great reputation, and they were heroes when America desperately needed heroes, and so that's the story of the Flying Tigers. And of course, at the end of the war, then he was promoted to two-star general. By the way, there about that, during the war, and continued to be very instrumental in that area in the Pacific, and very effective. And then the interesting, another side issue is that of course Chennault stayed on after the war. And formed the Civil Air Transport, which later was bought out by the CIA, and guess what? Turned into Yes Air America. And so the Air America operation had its fundamental beginnings with General Claire Chennault and the Flying Tigers. And Brian and I are very familiar with the Air America because our dad flew for Air America for 7 years in Vietnam. All right, that's enough of that, and I'll go ahead and start a quick 73 round, but before we do that, I'll take a standby for over-the-air check-ins. Any additional check-ins this morning? Last call for check-ins. Call now, W5OG. Okay, I don't hear anyone. Let's go ahead and start the 73 round. I don't have Echo Link up, but Bob, bring in Don K0Z and see if he's still on there. Go ahead, Bob. K1BOB. Go ahead, Bob. W5OG.
Wilco, K1BOB, and Don, you're up for the 73 round. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Don. Good question. I had absolutely no idea. Especially on the kill ratio. That came awfully high. But anyway, it is what it is. We had kind of a snowy lucky day today here. I don't think it's going to clear up until maybe, let's see, it may clear up on Friday, Saturday, I think they said. So anyway, it's going to be kind of a story. That's not unusual here in Colorado this time of year. 73 everybody, have a great day, and let's see, we'll see you tomorrow. Back to you, Dale, W5OG, K1BOB, 73 stars.
K1BOB, back to net control.
Okay, fine, Bob, and yeah, fine, Don. 7-3 to you. Have a great day, and hopefully you can get together with a family now that maybe you've got the roads in good condition after the snowfall. And there's my phone. All right, let me get to Cliff. W5PIX. 7-3 round Cliff. W5OG. W5PIX, are you there, Cliff? Anybody here, Cliff? He may be out of the truck or away for a minute. Let's move along. Let's go to Brian, KM6 Zulu X-Ray. Brian, 73 round, W5OG. Yeah, fine, Brian. And yeah, a lot of that was, a result of myth and their desire to have these people, honored, and rightfully so. I mean, their loss ratio was very high. No, I shouldn't say that. They didn't lose many of their aircraft, but those that they did lose of the original bunch, I think only 25% of them were lost, either KIA or captured or missing in action. So that was tough business. There's no question about that, and they didn't pay them much. So anyway, we'll move along. And 7-3 to you, Brian. Glad to have you join us this morning. Lee, any other comments? N5BE, go ahead. W5OG.
Yeah, W5OG N5BE. On my trip through Hong Kong, coming in and out of China, I always went to the Peninsula Hotel. That was the Japanese military headquarters in Hong Kong after they had captured Hong Kong. And you could still see the machine gun evidence of when the Flying Tigers attacked that hotel. It's a very elegant hotel and a huge landmark there in Hong Kong. I just wanted to throw one other thing. It has nothing to do with the question, except it does. Air-to-ground losses. I saw a fascinating video on YouTube that was a U.S. Army Air Force training film that was put out in 44-45 on the dangers of ground attack. And they had a matrix laid out of aircraft losses by aircraft type, P-38, P-47, you name it, right? And targets, airfields, trains, convoys. And it's just fascinating how they compiled all this data. And of course, the most dangerous air-to-ground mission was airfield attack. And the message there was, you make one pass, get the heck out, don't get a second pass. And most of the aircraft that got shot down came in on a second or a third pass. So fascinating stuff. I enjoyed it today, Dale. Thank you. Tomorrow there may be a question on the Royal Air Force Tactical Airlift recent history. You may want to bone up. W5OG N5BE.
Okay, we'll look forward to that, Lee. And I'm infinitely familiar, well, not infinitely, but I'm very familiar with the Peninsula Hotel. I have wonderful memories of having lunch at the Peninsula Hotel with my mom. And we did that on a couple of occasions when I had the opportunity to get through Hong Kong, and when my dad and mom were over there. They lived at Vientiane Laos for 7 years, and they were in and out of Hong Kong on many occasions, and a couple of times we got together there. Anyway, interesting stuff there, Lee, and I got back to Hong Kong many times with UPS even, and enjoyed that very much. before and after they turned Hong Kong back to the Chinese. All right, let's move along, going hard. WX7 Lima Lima. Go ahead, Art. You're up. W5OG. Okay, Art. Oh, good stuff. Good to hear from you again. John, WA6LJS, 7-3 round. John, W5OG.
Okay, Dale, thanks. W5OG, WA6LJS. Well, good conditions. Most everybody, actually a short skip. Anything about 1,400 miles or less from me was coming in like gangbusters. Everything past that was, I could hear them, but they weren't real strong on the local receiver, but you could use the SDR. Anyway, good question, and I missed your second answer, and I'm looking on NetLogger, and Lee's got it D, let me see, DC/D, so was the second answer two answers, C and D, or was it one there? Anyway, 73, and I'll be over to Echolink, WA6LJS, back to net.
Well, when I came up with the question, the answer was actually Delta, an incredible 25 to 1. But it was, as was pointed out, many of those were aircraft on the ground, and it was still only 296. It had to have been 300 to actually get to 25 to 1. But that's still an incredible record. So we gave full credit for Charlie answer as well as Delta. So anyway, mighty fine there, John. Thanks for pointing that out. Another opportunity to review that. All right, let's go to Mike, WW5ENZ. Thanks for the help again, Mike, W5OG.
Okay, W5OG, WW5ENZ. Yeah, it was a great question. And actually, I just looked it up on my computer here, and it was interesting. I could find everything from 8 to 1 up to 37 to 1, so anywhere in between, because there were, the actual confirmed kills, and that actually came out to 8 to 1, and I figured the closest to that might have been in 10, but then when you looked at the other ones, presumed kills, you add those in there, and you start getting up to a number about 450, and when you do the math on that, I think it comes out to like 37 to 1. Now, I haven't been in class for a long time, but it gets pretty high, even over the 25 to 1 you had. So this is a pretty interesting question. The only number I know for sure is there was only 12 lost. So whatever you figure out, they lost 12, and that's still pretty great. Anyway, a lot of fun. And I appreciate Lee. He gave you a sneak peek into tomorrow's question. And I shot it over to Charlie, so we'll have it up so we can all see it. Anyway, everybody have a great day, and we'll catch you tomorrow. WW5ENZ, 73 is all, and back to you, W5OG.
Okay, Mike, mighty fine, yep. All right, let's move along and go to Russ, K8 Able Foxtrot, 7-3 round Russ, W5OG.
Thanks, W5OG, K8AF, good question. And like all the conversation on it. And then you had a conversation on Hong Kong. I used to fly into Hong Kong a lot with Northwest, and I always enjoyed it, and was always amazed that the people there spoke better English than I did. So I thought that was kind of cool. So anyway, thanks again for running the net, and 7-3 to all, and hopefully I'll see you guys later this week. W5OG K8AF.
All right, fine. Russ, did you fly for Northwest? I guess I missed that.
Yes, sir.
Well, what were the years?
2000 to 2010 with then the merger happened and all that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm trying to remember a good friend of mine that flew for Northwest. I ran into him at Narita at the hotel there. And that was our crew hotel for UPS. Was the Northwest, whatever they called that thing, at Narita. Yeah, I'm sure you've been there, have you not, there, Russ?
Oh yeah, I love the Narita Hotel. They had a free laundry for us, so we could drop stuff off and then pick it up on our next time through, and everything would be nicely done and pressed.
Yeah, I've been there many times, so enjoyed that. I used to run into this friend of mine that was in cadets with me, so very interesting. All right, fine, Russ. Let's move along. Go to Tom, K4YES, 73 Tom, W5OG. All right, Tom, 7-3. Russ, are you K8AF? Are you still there at W5OG? I guess he's moved on. I flipped the switch there quickly. Let's go to Carl. KF7GJL, 7-3, Carl, W5OG.
Interesting man. Dad made him, not sure, I think it was on a single Santos, obviously before he shot down. And that was one of the motivations he got Dad into the Corsair. And he used to live in Fresno long after the war. And Dad kept in touch with him, and I was with him one time and actually had the opportunity to meet him. So, everybody, fantastic day. We'll try this again tomorrow. W5OG,
All right, Carl, my fine Pappy Boynton. Yep, interesting history there as well. Another historical hero. All right, let's go to Bob, K1BLB, 7-3, Bob, W5OG.
K1BOB, good morning again, Dale. Yeah, very thought-provoking question. Good commentary on that, and a lot of good comments from the folks there. When late in World War II, in the European theater, they changed the criteria, I remember. Well, I wasn't there, but in reading what determined to kill. And yeah, they opened it up to aircraft on the ground, which brought about more aircraft getting taken out of the air. In the F-11 community, we were always taught, unless it's very extenuating circumstances, it's one drop and a whole butt. And that was for good reasons. And if we had a wingman, we'd split them off early and bring them in on a 90-degree different heading than lead was on a target, and then you just put it in burner left. Same thing with nukes. You're single shift there, and you get two blizzards, as we called them. And we always had two targets, so for some reason you had a switch error or didn't drop the nuke out. You just pressed ahead and went to the secondary target, so it was always one pass, whole butt. K1BLB, thank you, Dale.
Okay, Bob. Interesting. Yeah, mighty fine. All good comments and good questions. It's amazing how what topics of discussion we can come up with some of these questions. And Carl had to scratch my head there because I did not get the connection between Pappy Boynton, and I just looked it up on the computer, and sure enough, he was one of those the American Volunteer Force folks before the war started, even. That's very interesting. And then later, of course, had the Black Sheep Squadron, and it had so many successes. The guy was credited with like 25 kills himself or something. Big numbers. Thank you for that, Carl. I did not get that connection. That's why we didn't mention his name. Good stuff. All right, let's go to Frank. N4GYY, 73 round Frank, W5OG.
W5OG and the group N4GYY. Very good net this morning. Good question. And the way I feel about it, with what Lee was talking, that since the kill ratio could be anywhere from 1 to 5 to 1 to 37, I think when it comes to the second question of this, we all got it right. So that's the way I'm looking at it. So, yeah, the first one was a no-brainer. The second one, though, was a little bit interesting. But again, good net as usual, Dan. You always do a fine job. So, with that, I'll say send me threes to everybody, and until next time, W5OG in the group, M4GYY, send me three of them.
All right, Frank. Well, thank you for that, and we'll move along. Let's go to David, KE7QWZ, 7-3 round. David, W5OG. All right, David. I barely can copy you. The conditions are just not as good as they are sometimes because normally I can hear you better. So long skip is a little bit lacking this morning, perhaps. Charlie, K4YDB, 7-3 round. Charlie, thanks for doing that live stream there. W5OG.
W5OG, K4YDB. Well, good net today, Dale. I did enjoy it. Thanks for running it. You do a good job as usual. Anyway, 73s, everybody. Everybody have a good day. And we will look for you tomorrow. It's K4YDB back tonight.
Okay, Charlie. Thanks for everything you do there. Ray, WB2JJO, 7-3 round. Ray. don't start with the Ray J business there. Go ahead, Ray. 7-3 round. W5OG.
W5OG from WB2JJL. Well, I'll tell you what there, Dale. I got to say one thing. This is the greatest history class I've ever attended. I got some pretty good information there. I didn't make the grade. I only got 50% of the question right. But then again, like they said, the second part was very controversial. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you, sir, for doing that. Thanks for the good report on the signal. Yeah, I guess the head steam is really doing its job. So with that there, I'll say 7-3s. I'll catch you guys on Echo Link. W5OG, WB2JJO. 7-3s, all.
All right, Ray. 7-3 to you. And yeah, give yourself a gold star there. I don't care what you put down for the second answer. All four are pretty reasonably correct there. All right, let's go to Joe. W5ABI, 7-3, Joe, W5OG.
Yeah, W5OG, W5ABI. Good net, Dale. Well, it finally stopped raining here, so I wish it would continue so we can get what we need. Anyhow, great net, great question. Thanks for running it. W5OG, W5ABI.
All right, Joe. Now, I know you live in the desert, so you can't expect a whole lot of that rain. We'll give you a little of our, whatever's left over there occasionally there, Joe. 7-3. James, KG5PTE, 7-3 round. James, W5OG.
W5OG, KG5PTE. Well, I was transmitted on the Yaesu 710, but I've got it all taken apart in here. Well, I actually got it back together now. I got a good spot for my amplifier, and I got it all in place, and I just got to hook up the coax and plug it in, and it'll be ready to go hopefully tomorrow. Anyway, Chenault, when you're talking about the question of the day, Chenault, I am familiar with Chenault Field over in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And I was wondering if you could comment if that airfield over there in Lake Charles, Louisiana is named after the same guy you're talking about. So 7-3 Dale, and I'll be on Echo Link, KG5PT.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, James. He's a graduate of LSU. So he's a Cajun from Louisiana, so or was. And I'm sure that was named after him there, James. All right, let's move along. Brian, WB5DRI, 7-3, Brian, W5OG.
Okay, Dale, W5OG, WB5DRI. Well, great net. Dale, enjoyed it, and I have to say to N5BE Lee there that when he mentioned the Peninsula Hotel, it brought back memories for me, too, because I stayed there with Mom when
She had met me, I think she met me in Japan, and we flew to Hong Kong and stayed there for a few days before we flew on to Bangkok and then into Vientiane to meet up with Dad there when I went over to Laos to visit them. But I have some fond memories of that hotel too. That was a really beautiful hotel, I remember. Anyway, interesting stuff. Good memories, Dale. Anyway, 73s to all the Flyers, and everybody have a great day out there, and we're hoping for a little rain here today in San Antonio. It looks like we might get some. I think they had a 60% chance, so we'll see. We got a pretty good rain, actually, I think yesterday we got a pretty good one, so it was good to get some rain, and we could use some more. Maybe it was the day before yesterday, I guess, that we got the rain. Anyway, 73s, everybody, and we'll talk to you maybe on Echo Link. W5OG, WB5DI, back to net. Good day, everybody.
Okay, Brian. Yeah, those are good memories. I was always amazed at the people that knew Mom by on a first name basis, both in Hong Kong and in Bangkok. It was amazing. All right, 7-3, Brian. We'll talk to you later. Let's move along. Last here on the list, I believe, for the morning is John's already signed out, so it'd be Mike. KF0 Hopi. Go ahead, Mike. You're up. W5OG.
Well, good net today. A lot of fun. Good question. 7-3s, guys. Have a great one. Maybe catch you on Echo Link. KF0 Hopi. Back to W5OG in the net.
All right, 7-3, Mike. All right, that's the bottom of the list. I'll take one quick standby. Any last check-ins before we close the net or comments from the group there? Go ahead, W5OG, call now. All right, that just about sums it up. So we'll go ahead and close this edition of the Air Force's Flyers Club Net. I do want to thank everyone for their participation, for your good comments on the question of the day, and the subject of which became a pretty good review for me, for sure. So I do appreciate it, and we invite you to come over and join us on Echo Link. We'll continue some more discussion there. It's on the AFFC node under the conference tab of Echo Link, for those of you that can join us there. And I didn't get Cliff, but Cliff will see you over on Echo Link if you're back to the truck. 7-3, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. This is W5OG now closing the Air Force's Flyers Club Net, returning the frequency to normal amateur use.